So this person was at their job nonstop talking about T-Swizzle, and it's like, please, sir or madame, talk about the video game you're working on.
Employee who came out and they tweeted out some things that they were told on the way out, and they were very vague, but I wanted to kind of go over these. These were pointed out by Blabs over here. But this is from Ash. Ash is a former employee, is a trans sober gamer Swiftie whose opinions are our own, former marathon marketing manager at Bungie. So that just to give you a point of reference. So
they fired a trans person.
How bigoted can it possibly be? It's a
Cancel
good point.
Bungie.
It's ridiculous. I want to say Ash came in, says, this morning, Bungie let me go. I don't have bad things to say about Bungie as a whole. But before I left, here are some things I was told. Number one, people from Microsoft tend to do poorly at Bungie because they are generalist and not specialist. Two, I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to tell you to stop talking about Taylor Swift, but you need to talk about Marathon the same way.
Oh my God.
What?
So this person was at their job nonstop talking about T-Swizzle, and it's like, please, sir or madame, talk about the video game you're working on. Stop talking about the T-Swizzle.
Over this person.
Like if you just and by the way, once again, in it actually does say Swiftie. Like, so clearly big fan of Taylor Swift, so much so that it's taking over the employment opportunities. 3, to have a meaningful career development, you likely have to choose between work and being present with your family. And that's the third one. So I met some truly amazing leaders and peers at Bungie and some lifelong friends. But as a trans person, ... I'm likely leaving the game industry and never looking back.
Never to return.
So also,
what does that have to do with being a trans person?
Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Allow me to answer that in one swift sentence.
As a trans person, it's like,
and here's the finger point at the end. Also, in hundreds of applicants for the role, how come the only 4 people that made it through were white guys with decorated resumes? All similar, of course. I don't know, just thinking out loud. Well, allow me to answer that question, Ash, in one sentence, just like I did before. Because they were more qualified. Because they had decorated resumes based off of a very similar criteria that they look for. Why were they all fired? Because they were all similar and decorated and awesome. Because that's why they were hired. Not because they were looking for diversity. Or maybe they were. Who knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe we'll get on to the next one.
Bungie.
Okay,
so they most likely were looking for everything they could to bring up somebody else, because Bungie, I mean, I used to love Bungie. They made my favorite game of all time, Halo 3. But my God, if you've been following Destiny and Bungie, they have gone very much down that rabbit hole to the point where I can't even look at them anymore. So, yeah.
As a Brazilian, I agree.
Dan, Dan, what's your thoughts as a Brazilian?
As a Brazilian, I completely agree. And that sentence is infinitely more important because I said as a Brazilian first.
Oh, good point. Excellent.
So,
yeah. Well, when they say decorated resume, like, once again, I don't. Ash says decorated resume. Are we talking? The way I saw it was they had a lot of things on their resume which were very, very. When you say a decorated soldier, it means they have a lot of accomplishments, right? Or did Ash mean like they put flowers and sprinkles and stuff on their actual? Did they actually decorate their resume?
Pronouns.
Yes, these are all things that we just don't know. And
pronouns all over.
So let me. And somebody responded down below, which was pretty funny. Let me pull this exact tweet up because it says probably because. Sorry, this is great. This person responds, probably because you sat around and did nothing, and were entitled to your job while being lazy. They looked at your performance reports and figured they could probably hire someone else to do your job better. Hopefully, the next devs they hire won't be as lazy and will actually care. And she just responded, or sorry, Ash just responded with, "You okay?" Right? And that's
okay.
This is what Swifties do always, though. They reply with these gifts. They go, "Oh no, sis, what do you mean?"
They're the
worst. It's like Bungie's stupid. Don't get me wrong, but companies are interested in making money. They won't fire you if keeping you there means making more money. They will fire you if firing you means making more money.
Well,
So
that's false because Gina Carano was making Disney money and then they sacked her. Now they're making less.
well,
money,
of
'cause
course
no
there
one
are.
cares about
Of
Disney.
course there
But
are exceptions. But
that's
my
the idea.
companies
point,
can
my
still
point
be
is
out of
that
HUD.
my point is that this is obviously ex-employee talk. Of course, he's not going to come out of the company talking wonderful things about them, and that's what's to be expected from him.
I think the thing that the last point in here, the third bullet point is that to have a meaningful career development, you likely have to choose between work and being present with your family. I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say no fucking shit, right? If you want to advance in a company, chances are you're going to have to sacrifice in some way, shape, or form. That's just the reality of it. Because guess what? We live in a capitalistic society, and you know what? That's a fucking great thing. If you want to succeed, you got to put the time in. You got to scratch, you got to claw, and you got to work your way up. Because guess what? If you're not, somebody else will. That's the reality of the situation, and that's what these people are having a hard time grasping. So you mean I may not be able to make it to my a kid's birthday party that my kid's going to or something? Okay, that's fine. Like I am a big proponent that family should be first, 100% of the time. I believe that. But don't complain that your career is suffering because you wanted to go to the fucking Scooby-Doo roller rink with your kid at 3:00 on a Tuesday versus getting the job done. Like don't complain about that shit. Everybody has choices. You made your choice. Don't complain about it on the way out. Sorry.
That's it. I can totally see that happening. The guy's like, he wants to leave in the middle of work hours. Hey, I want to go to a movie with my kids. It's like, no, you need to work. But my family!
This is the exact same people with like Twitter when they had all these different things, all the lunches, massages, and all that, and then they all got laid off because they weren't actually doing their job when they were crying.
Was it
and all
90%? 90% of the staff?
Massive layoffs in Twitter.
It's like most people in your company are useless.
Yeah.
They realize that.
And then there was that group photo, and it was all like dudes looking really, really nerdy, obviously, because
sweaty.
That's what you need.
Yeah, all greasy and full of acne, and those
look at that guy and
yeah, you look at that guy and say that guy can do anything in a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You look at anybody who's at any smidgen of success, and they will tell you they had to sacrifice something in ways, whether it is family, whether it is time playing video games, whether it is their hobby. They have to be great. You have to sacrifice. That's the reality of the situation, which these people don't understand. So I'm going to slap that shit to half court. That to have a meaningful career development, you have to choose between working and being present for your family. Yeah, no fucking shit, idiot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to realize that it's actually a cool dichotomy that you need to balance. You need to keep both of those up. It's like I want to be good at my job and dedicate myself to the people that give me the opportunity to put bread on my table because of my love for my family. And I also want to be there as an employer. I want my employees to be there for their families because that's what will make them happy. And happy employees tend to be better at their jobs, tend to be good at what they do if they're doing it happily and satisfied.
But what do you think about this? Leave us a comment down below. We read every single one of them. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you have found your home for common sense in the gaming and entertainment worlds.